So, yesterday I made a video on this one guy who calls himself Coding Jesus. Now, the purpose of that video, I was kind of haphazard. I was planning on doing a JavaScript video, and all of a sudden I got sidetracked talking about a random concept, which was him in this situation. And I wanted to make this video to be a little bit more succinct and to express my ideas more clearly. So, the main idea behind this was that there's this guy, Mr. Coding is making these videos online where he is essentially making fun of people who went to school for software engineering, computer science, and he's doing these mock interviews where he is asking him all of these questions, which I don't quite think are valid questions, and that was the point of what I was talking about. Is I don't quite think that these are valid questions or expectations on entry level software engineers. And I don't think that this is something that you can actually expect someone coming straight out of school to have that kind of knowledge. And now, if his entire channel was simply dedicated to, okay, well, school is extremely good for helping you learn the theoretical things, but this is what I would suggest if you really want to become practical and useful and really level up your skills as a software engineer. If his videos were like that, I would be a huge fan of his. I would say this is amazing content. I would suggest everyone to go and watch his videos, get good at those questions that he's kind of asking about. It's more lower level, more deeper conceptual understanding of like how processes actually take place within a computer. That's more of his questions that he's asking. So if that was the case, I would be a huge fan of his because it's trying to encourage people to become better, to improve their skills, to level up. This is awesome, but that's not really what he's doing at all. It's more of, in my opinion, kind of a mean-spirited making fun of, kind of ridiculing people who are going to school, and then he's like, "Oh, you don't know this. How can you not know this? You took a class on this topic and you don't have an in-depth detailed understanding of how it works." And so I wanted to make this video to kind of provide at least my perspective and context so that people who are feeling maybe in the same situation that I did can watch this video and feel like, okay, well, it's not all doom and gloom. There is hope. So the thing is, I know for me, I always felt when I was going to school just very kind of like insecure about the fact that I don't feel like I'm actually learning how to do anything. Like my skill set is not something that is helping me actually become a better engineer. And now, when I was in school, I studied really, really hard. I was a very good student, and I also have a lot of friends who I look at their experience, and so it's not just me, it's them as well. And from what I can tell, when you're doing your degree, what happens is you get about 20% of the material. So the way that it's going to work is no matter how much you actually like really, really, really study, you're not going to be able to absorb all of the material because it's like drinking out of a fire hose. You're getting so much material, and you're always on like the cutting edge of your knowledge base because by almost definition that's what it is. Each class is a completely new topic, and that's kind of the idea. It's a topic. It's not a You're not building on one singular project or one singular idea. It is a bunch of different topics. It is networking. In your degree, you're going to get a little bit of networking, a little bit of operating systems, a little bit of data structures, a little bit of uh, web development, a little bit of mobile development, a little bit of cloud development, a little bit of graphics, a little bit like a lot of math, actually, a lot of math, physics, right? Like you're going to get so much different concepts. It's not reasonable for you to be able to just like, hey, this networking class that you took 2 years ago, explain all of how a TCP handshake works and how many steps or how many handshakes are there. For me, I remember that there's like, okay, there's a three-way handshake, and I know TCP is like secure, mean or not secure in terms of security, but it's like there's no loss because it resends packets if they're lost. I know that there's something about like an acknowledge and a time to live. I don't have the full conception of it. Of course not, because I only have that 20%. But guess what? If I needed to learn, I could do so very easily because I've done it before. And that's the entire purpose of the computer science degree. They give you a huge, wide array of topics. And then when you get a job, you're going to have a project. And that project is when you're able to actually be like, okay, now I need to actually learn this concept. But because I've learned it once before, maybe 3 years ago, you kind of have a general roadmap or kind of like a an understanding of the main sticking posts of that layout. So you're able to be like, okay, something about TCP, something about UDP. I know where to start. I know where to start my investigation. Then you move forward. That's how I've been doing at my current job is I am given a task, right? Like, okay, perform this task. Obviously, I'm not going to talk specifically about the tasks that I'm working on, but perform this task or get this task accomplished. And then I need to, okay, cool. What are the steps that I need to take? And then I say, like, okay, well, now I need networking. Well, time to learn about different networking protocols. What's I2C? What's one wire? Are all of these different communication protocols? And how do I get them to work? How do I uh, test the timing and all of this different stuff? Like, that just comes as you're doing the projects. So there's a huge disconnect between doing projects and actually and the theoretical. So again, if his big thing was computer science degree, you're doing great, but can I suggest you continue you make it better by doing these projects because you're going to improve yourself because you're going to move forward. That would be amazing. I would be a huge supporter of him. But that again, that's not what he's doing. He's number one, he's obviously it's for entertainment and it gets people he's trying to make people upset, trying to I feel like feed on that insecurity that I know that I felt a lot is like, man, no matter how much I'm studying, no matter how much effort I put into what I'm doing, I don't feel like I'm improving. And so I know that there's definitely that insecurity there. I think also he's trying to kind of make fun of the computer science degree, kind of like it's worthless. Just do projects. This idea. And yes, as I just said, when you do projects, you understand that specific domain on a much deeper level. But that's not quite the point of computer science. And a lot of his questions also don't make much sense insofar as he kept asking something about like documentation, like what's your favorite feature of Python or something like this, and it that doesn't exactly make sense. That's not software development. That's not trying to actually improve yourself and make yourself a better software engineer. That's more of like just with experience, you're going to be like able to answer that question a lot better. And that's kind of another key point that I want to make is with experience. So I don't think that you should feel insecure or like pulled down by the fact that if you're not able to answer or have ideas about what your favorite feature or what smart pointer, that was another one that he was into on C++. And okay, I had zero idea about what a smart pointer is. I have no idea. I can look it up, right? Like all that indicates is that I haven't used C++ specifically to the and needed that concept. And in computer science, again, all of your classes are about specifically like learning a concept. It's not about learning specifically all of the inner details about, okay, you're working here in machine learning, doing machine learning, and then you also are trying to learn about how the different uh, 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 like an example would be, because I've mentioned machine learning, I'm trying to think of something. So in machine learning, you use NumPy to multiply arrays together, like rows and columns. And so you use linear algebra to do the multiplication. And the reason why is because uh, the way that the CPU works, you're able to parallelize a lot of those computations together, and so it's not a for loop. But you don't need to know that. You don't need to know that. All you need to know is, okay, use NumPy, do matrix multiplications to do your additions and multiplication and summations, and that's what you need to know. And then if you like move further and further and you're curious, that well, then you are going to kind of learn more maybe about the architecture, maybe not. I mean, to be completely honest, that information doesn't necessarily help you become a better machine learning engineer. It would definitely help you become like a better computer architect. So that's how I'm seeing it, is that with these these questions, it's much more targeted. Like, what are you trying to accomplish? And that's usually how, in my experience and a lot of my friends' experience, that's how people are actually judged as software engineers. Is that you're given a specific project and you just need to accomplish that goal. And if you accomplish the goal, great. Now, along the way, you're going to learn a lot and you're going to improve yourself and all of this, right? But it's not that you did a project and now you have to know like every single library that you used and all of the documentation. And another big thing that he always asks is, what's your favorite change between Python? I don't know. I literally don't even know the versions. Like 3.2.8 and 3.9.6. Like what's your favorite, or what changed between the versions? It's like I have no idea. What version of Python am I using? I have no idea. I just use what's pre-installed. It accomplishes the task, and that's kind of the point. And now one more thing that I'll mention is if his videos were specifically about quant, which is quantitative trading, so it's like writing software for trading stocks on Wall Street. If he was just talking about that, then I wouldn't have much to say because I'm not in that world. I don't know the quant field. I don't know. Maybe that's what they do expect of an entry level software engineer, possibly. But then he'll talk about Fang. And now that's where I actually do have a little bit of knowledge because unfor- I didn't get into Fang, right? They rejected me. When I tried to apply, I applied like so many times when I first graduated, and they just rejected me over and over and over. And then I was so happy when I got accepted into the company that I'm currently at. I was so happy. You have no idea. Liter- Literally 1,000 applications, and then I got into my current company. I'm so like grateful to the people at my current company for giving me an opportunity. But that's kind of a aside. I have a lot of friends who are at Fang, specifically Amazon and Microsoft, because I'm in Oregon, and so Seattle is the big pull, right? So Seattle has Amazon and Microsoft. Those are the big companies up there. So I do have some knowledge on this right here, and so this guy, he will be talking about, he was the video that I found him on was he was doing a mock interview or a ridicule fest essentially of this one person who was a Amazon intern. And he was saying, "You worked at Amazon and you don't know this? You worked at Amazon." And you just like, it felt like mean spirited, trying to jab at him, kind of make fun of him. And I was watching that video. I was like, okay, that's weird. And so he'll talk about like if you want to be at Fang, you need this is like expectations. And that one I definitely have to disagree with because how all of my friends got into Amazon was very simple. It was now it's difficult to do. It's extremely difficult to do, but the process was fairly simple. They grinded LeetCode. That's what they did. They studied really hard in their school. They grinded LeetCode, and in the interviewer asked them one question, one LeetCode question, and this question is essentially to prove that they know programming. They have a basic level of competency, that they are a reasonable person. And so then Amazon extends a internship offer to them. Then what happens is they do their project. They're given a project. If they are successful in their project, they get a return offer. Now, thankfully, all of my friends did, in fact, get a return offer and are either going to get another internship if they haven't graduated, or they're going back full time as a software engineer. So that's how it happens. From my experience, what I've seen is that it's based on if you are successful in your project. So just be hardworking. Try to improve your skills. And as I've said many, many times, I don't want this video because I know that videos on the internet are extremely popular if a video kind of gives people an excuse to be lazy. I've seen this a lot is whenever there's a video online talking about, "Oh, you don't need to do X, Y, or Z." This becomes popular because people try to find a justification for why they don't need to do X, Y, or Z because they don't want to. That's absolutely not what I'm saying. So please don't take I'm saying in this video as an excuse or a justification for, oh, so I don't need to learn those lower level architecture or a lower level like computer architecture or a lower level like learning things on a deep level. That's absolutely not what I'm saying. I'm saying don't feel ashamed if you don't know it right now. Definitely, definitely, definitely move forward. Try to improve yourself. Try to become better. And my entire YouTube channel is kind of like I want to showcase what a reasonable expectation or what a reasonable kind of journey is as a software engineer. I'm very new into the field. I've only been an engineer for a little bit over a year now. I did my internship and then I transferred over to the same company as a full time engineer. So that's kind of my journey. And I'm trying to showcase on this channel. I do my LeetCoding videos, I do my projects and stuff like that. And I'm trying to showcase, like, I post my failures. And what I'm trying to do with this channel is just showcase how my journey, right? Like moving forward in an authentic and actual way so that people I always see videos online of everyone is a genius. Everyone is like a child prodigy. Everyone and it's just like extremely disheartening because you're like, man, I'm not a child prodigy. I'm not any of this. So should I just give up? I think absolutely not. Keep pushing forward, and that's something that I think is very undervalued is that tenacity and that spirit of just like, man, I'm not going to give up. I will continue. I will persevere. And this is an extremely important skill because it also means that you're going to have perseverance and tenacity in your project. And as I've been saying, that's what's important is okay, if you're just extremely bright, right? Yeah, you're going to be doing pretty good. But if you're able to just have that attitude of just like pushing through all of your uh, problems and you don't give up, you hit a problem. Maybe you get depressed for 10 minutes, maybe you get depressed for a day, and you're trying to get it, trying to get it, trying to get it, but then you don't give up. You're sad for a little bit, and then you go forward again. You're like, man, I don't see how I'm gonna get this. Well, I mean, I don't have a choice but to try it again. So you do. And then eventually you get it. And if you have that kind of like personality, I think that that transfers very well into a when you're given a project in engineering, you're going to say, "Man, I don't know how to do this." This always happens to me. Always happens to me at my current job is I'll be given a very vague project idea, right? And I call myself the resident uh, software like team because I'm in the hardware department, but I'm the software guy. So I have like I call myself the software department in the hardware department. So all of the software engineering tasks kind of get given to me, and there's so many times that I have zero idea how I'm going to do it, but I can't give up. You move forward, you keep pushing forward, you keep pushing forward, you keep pushing forward. And eventually, you are going to be able to make some headway. And that's also another very valuable skill is like when you're stuck, how do you take any inch that you're given? You're given even just a thread, and you can just like take that thread and just like unravel it, and eventually if you have like the ability, you're able to then pull on it, and all of a sudden you're able to start seeing the actual concept. And that's really important is how do you take one little thing like, okay, I have a starting point, I have a threshold by which I can grab this problem, let me like grab onto it, not let go, and just go 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 go. So that's why I wanted to make this video. Just encourage everyone, keep moving forward, keep pushing forward, and always improve yourself. And again, don't let this video be an excuse not to push yourself, not to move forward. If you get a project and you have to do C++ and you run into smart pointers, then learn it. Then that wonderful, what a beautiful opportunity that you have been given. You have been given this gift of an opportunity to learn this concept, and this concept is going to help you move forward in your career, and you're going to become such a better software engineer. But don't be upset at yourself if someone makes fun of you and says, "Ha ha, you don't know what a smart pointer is." The correct response is just saying, yeah, I don't know what a smart pointer is. I've never had a reason to use them, but thank you for bringing this concept to my attention because now I will learn. So thank you for that, right? Like that seems like the correct response to someone kind of jabbing at you for not knowing something that you haven't learned. And then the other thing that he'll kind of be to a less degree, but talking about people who just do leak code, kind of like talking about why it's not great. And I definitely want to make another video in the future. I will be making another video, kind of talking about more in depth of leak code and why I think actually it is a pretty valuable metric by which you can judge someone very quickly if they are competent in software engineering or coding or kind of have those concepts. Because again, as I mentioned in this video, is I know that there's a lot of videos online where people are flocking to videos justifying why they don't need to do something that they don't want to. And this is extremely popular on LeetCode. I realized that there's a huge kind of community online talking about how LeetCode is awful, LeetCode is worthless, LeetCode, and then everyone who doesn't want to study LeetCode, everyone who just wants to find kind of like an excuse not to do LeetCode, not to put in the time, not to put in the effort, to just kind of ignore it. they'll go and watch that video, they'll love that video, and those videos get like hundreds of thousands of views. And so I've noticed that there's a huge kind of like anti-leak code sentiment online. Uh, so I definitely have a very different opinion on that. As I make leak code videos, I'm terrible at leak code. You can see my leak code videos. As I mentioned, I'm trying to provide an accurate and realistic depiction of myself and my skill set so that other people don't feel bad about themselves. And I post my failures. I post when man, I can't solve this problem. And guess what? It happens more than 50%. I would say about 70%, maybe 60% of the mediums that I do. I have no idea how to solve them. But that's okay because I'm going to move forward. That's okay because I will continue. I will accomplish it and I will find out this problem has it's like a nut, right? Like a walnut or something. There's something inside of it. I couldn't break it, right? I but there's this nugget of information, of knowledge inside, and I will get into it. And so I'm gonna investigate, like, what happened, why did I fail, what is the concept which I was missing, so that I don't have that same problem next time. And that's kind of like the idea is like with the leak code. First off, and so I'll make the full length video on that, but essentially is it teaches you kind of that tenacity, and it proves that you do have this spirit, that you don't just give up. You don't just say, man, you don't stop at the first leak code problem because, oh man, I this sucks, and so you give up. You don't stop after the 100th leak code problem because you're like, man, I'm not feeling any improvement, which is kind of where I'm at right now. And I'm open about that on my videos. I say, like, man, I feel like giving up because guess what? I do feel like giving up. I do feel like quitting. I do feel like not doing leak code, but I'm going to continue. And so leak code is kind of a litmus test almost to say, like, do you have this character? Do you have the character to persevere even when you hit a wall and you just keep running into problems after problems after problems? Yes or no? And if you can prove that you are good at leak code or competent at leak coding type questions, it does indicate to your character that you did persevere through it. Because, and I don't have any, uh, I haven't done a study on this, but I would guess I would take my most intelligent friends that I know in my electrical engineering department. So, my electrical engineering friends, very intelligent, extremely intelligent. Ask them to do a leak coding question. I don't think that they would be able to do it because they haven't studied it, because they haven't put in the effort. It's not necessarily a thing of just rogue intelligence is going to get you to be able to solve this problem. You have to put in the time. You have to have studied it. You have to know the algorithms. You need to hit that wall 50, 60, 70, 100, 200 times and not give up. So it does give that information. And then also it does show, as I said, a base level of understanding of software, or not software engineering, but just programming. Like, you can program. And so that gives the company a little bit of like confidence that, okay, great, this person, they have the basic minimum level of skill to be able to do software, and then they'll put them in a project, and then now it's up to them to learn the concepts within that project, move forward, become successful, and take advantage of the opportunities given to them and flourish. So, anyways, I just wanted to make this video because I made a video previously, like about 2 days ago, and I was initially planning, because I do these JavaScript, I do leak coding videos. where I try to solve questions live. I do Java projects where I'm kind of just playing around with the language, trying to build stuff because I've never touched Java before, ever. And I heard that it is an important language, so I'm learning it. Same thing with JavaScript. And again, when I say I'm learning the language, what I actually mean to say is I'm learning the concept, the domain which JavaScript lives in. So what JavaScript is its domain is kind of like web development and client server communication and database communication. So yeah, I'm learning the language, but that's not my point to learn the language. My actual point is to learn the concept around it, the domain of JavaScript. So this Mr. Coding guy, he's obsessed with like the language. It feels like the language, the language, the language. But actually, it's more of the concept, right? Like, how do you talk to a server? What is Express? How does Express work? What are router methods? Like, what are all of these? How do you manipulate the DOM? How do you do all of this stuff? So that's, in my opinion, a lot more of a valid kind of line of questions. So the reason that I'm making this video right here is because in my previous video, I was initially doing a JavaScript, I believe it was. I was doing my JavaScript project, and those videos are much more, conversational. And I was planning on talking about doing JavaScript. So I was going to do my projects and try to just see what concepts I can stumble upon. But then I got way sidetracked, way derailed because I forget how I got on the topic, but I started talking about this Mr. Coding guy and his videos that he's been making. And the video that I made was very drawn out, and I kind of got off topic and I was rambling because I was doing JavaScript and I was addressing his ideas. So I wanted to make this video where I was much more succinct and actually explained my ideas and give people encouragement to not give up, not feel like they're doing poorly, and to move forward. Don't, again, please, 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 please do not use this video that I'm making right now as a justification for not studying the concepts which he is suggesting. Do study them, learn about them, thank him for giving you an idea that these things exist, but don't feel bad. Okay? All right. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, I would be very appreciative if you subscribe. I almost have 100 subscribers now. I think, 88. The last time I checked, I have 88 subscribers. So I would love if you would subscribe. As I mentioned, I make LeetCoding videos and I do like software engineering projects. Again, it's very conversational. It's very kind of just like, I come on here and just try to program, see what I can do, see what I can't do, and doing my LeetCoding progress. So yeah, anyways, thank you for watching. My name is Timothy Lee Grant, and I will see you very soon. Actually, I will see you guys in like 5 minutes because, as I said, I do a LeetCoding video every single day, and I haven't done a LeetCoding video yet today, so I have to go do that. So, not going to give up. Every day doing a LeetCode, every day moving forward. Progress, progress, progress. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you later.